Welcome back to the Fadi Show podcast. This is your host, Fadi, and a special guest. I've been trying to have you on here for a long time.
Yeah.
And you've just had shit going on.
I've been working, man. I gotta make that money somehow.
Yeah. Pull it
in closer?
Yeah. Get comfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
Try to have it like half a foot from you.
That's how I deal with
Wait, hold
dick.
on. You're from Canada. You don't use feet.
No. But this is how I deal with all dicks, just half a foot away from me anyway.
That's like the red zone.
Slapping it away.
Get away from me.
Yes.
But no, a little bit closer. If you don't mind.
There you go.
No, you can pull it towards you so that
okay,
you can
I'm just
stay
leaning.
comfortable.
Yeah.
This is Sunny VK.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I've been trying to have you on the podcast for a long
It's
time.
legitimate because I've been working.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know you're not trying to be an asshole.
No, I'm not an asshole.
No, because I was supposed to have her on like 2 weeks ago, and then last minute, it was like the night before.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, you still down for the podcast?" And you're like,
"What happened?"
By the way, no. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'll just cancel the tomorrow thing."
No, but legitimately, I think I was in Stockholm or something because I have been doing gigs when I try to get gigs at night. I know, and then Tito wanted me to cut his hair. Tito's another comedian. Mm-hmm. Did you have him on the show?
I had him on.
Yeah, so he wanted me to cut his hair today, but I said, oh, but it has to be before Fadi's podcast because that man is gonna come after me if I say no.
I was about to get so pissed.
So Tito had to come to my apartment at 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Yes.
Okay.
For some mediocre fade. And I was like, yo, I gotta hurry up. There's like some Catholic Iraqi that needs to be doing this podcast soon.
Catholic Iraqi.
I haven't said those two words.
You don't put those two there.
Oh, but I don't know any other Catholic Iraqis because you are Catholic.
Yeah.
Iraqi.
Iraqi.
Yeah. There's a whole mix of religions in the Middle East, so.
Yeah, it's a soup.
Yes, but I think you're the first Catholic I've met, actually.
Really?
From Iraq, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a whole, group of folks. It's like Chaldeans.
Okay. No.
Heard about them?
No.
It's like Detroit is infested with them.
Really?
Yes, Detroit and San Diego for some reason just have a lot of Chaldeans.
Okay.
So that's what I am.
Okay, so did you go to church every week?
Not every week.
Were you an altar boy? Do they have these types of things? You know how they do it in Ireland? Super spicy and super pedo-y? Is it also like that? In the Iraqi Catholic community, do you guys have the same traditions?
Iraqi Catholic community, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't want to be too offensive, but I'm also a comedian. So
no, go ahead. Just everything goes. No, but I for sure was baptized, and then I had to take my confirmation. You know, you literally just study the Bible for a month, and then you're like.
But do you have Sunday schools?
We did.
Yeah.
When I was taking my confirmation, so it's every Sunday you have to go.
And Catholics, you get baptized early on.
Yeah.
Because there's other Christians that do it later on.
I believe so. Yeah.
You know, my dad's sister's side is all Catholic, and then on
really?
we have a bunch of Catholics in my family.
Where are you from?
Okay,
exactly.
I'm Sri Lankan.
Sri Lankan.
But I'm Tamil.
What is that?
So it's two ethnic groups in Sri Lanka, Sinhalese and Tamil.
Okay.
But Tamils have always been oppressed. And there was a civil war, and there was there was always a way for the government to oppress us. So I don't like to say that I'm Sri Lankan because that's not really, that's not my country. Yeah. But Tamils always wanted a land. Mm-hmm. So, but that's my background. I'm born and raised in Canada. But Tamil just means a language and a geographical situation where you are. Because there's Tamil Muslims, Tamil Hindus, Tamil Catholics, Tamil Christians.
You got Muslims in that island?
Yeah. You know Aziz Ansari's, he's Sri Lankan Muslim, I believe.
Aziz Ansari is Muslim?
He, or is it someone else I'm thinking about? Whoops, it is.
You're just mixing them up.
No,
You're doing what your government is doing. It's all the same.
No, but even that name. Yeah, Aziz Ansari's family, I believe, is Muslim. And he's from Sri Lanka.
Where is he at now? I haven't seen or heard from him in a while.
I don't want to talk about it.
I wonder what happened.
He's whatever.
We don't associate with him.
We don't.
As Sri Lankans.
No, so... What was my point? I'm yes. And then I have Catholics in my family.
That is strange. Catholicism reached Sri Lanka.
But it did, though, because the Portuguese...
What a powerful religion. I'm not going to lie.
But that's because, everybody tried...
We did our thing.
Yo, you did your thing. You did your thing. But, everyone tried to colonize Sri Lanka. First, the Portuguese came. And they're
Does it have natural resources? What...
I mean, it has, people that are going to, it has...
Free labor.
Free labor. It has spices. I mean, it was all a part of the history of colonization that they went to different places in Asia. Mm-hmm. So the Portuguese came to Sri Lanka first, and then they're like, "Oh, this food's too hot," so they left. And then the Dutch came, and then the Dutch were like, the weather's too hot, and they also left. And then the British are just nasty people. They took everything, and then they left. And it's just like, no, but it's three types of people that developed three types of, left three types of identities. And if you go to south of India, in Kerala, you'll see a lot of this influence with the Portuguese, I believe. And then in Pondicherry in the south, you'll see Catholic influence and French influence.
So you have like cathedrals just randomly.
Yeah, and in Sri Lanka too, it's like that. But it's a majority Buddhist country. It's majority Buddhist.
And you are.
I'm an atheist. Yeah.
You're just like none of this shit.
None of this shit.
None of them.
None of it. No.
Damn. I wanted to ask you, how long you been doing comedy for?
And
what got you into it?
I think I'm coming on to 4 years, but
4 years.
One of the years I was out in a little small town, I moved, and I have part of that joke in my set. So let's say a good solid 3 years where I was sort of grinding it out. What got me into it is I always loved comedy. So I lived in Toronto, born in Montreal, raised in Toronto. And then I'd always go to comedy clubs on my birthdays and just hanging out with friends. And I love seeing them. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Then I moved to Sweden. And I think one day I went to Viva with my ex and two friends, and we saw a bunch of stand-up comedians, and we laughed. I'm like, yo, I'm going to try that. Yeah. So I went up to Tito. He doesn't know the story. I went up to Tito that day, and I said, I'm a stand-up comedian. I just straight up lied because I didn't know. I didn't know if he was going to put me
that you were allowed.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, contact me, right? So then I contacted him, and then he's like, how long you been doing it for? I'm like, give or take 1 or 2 years in Toronto. Never did a joke in my life on stage. But I think, I don't know if you remember the first time you've ever done comedy. The first set you've ever done.
Yeah, I remember it.
Did you do well?
No. I have a video recording of it.
Okay.
It was at Andrelong.
It was at Andrelong,
It's dead now. Like, it's gone.
Yo, I think do I remember you then? I don't know if I remember that place. Yeah, Andrelong it's not there. Now they're going to... Yeah. But generally, the first set, I hear a lot of comedians say like that actually worked for them because the adrenaline and the anxiety is so high. Yeah. You actually like just do well for some reason. And I did do well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and then I subsequently bombed for like a year after. I was just like, I was hanging on to that hope that one day I did well.
You just have one set and you were like, I have it in me. I just need to do that again.
I was like,
and then you
don't for that. Exactly.
And then you don't for a year.
Do you know how many bad sets I've had? It's fucking ridiculous.
I love asking this question. What's the worst set you've ever had?
Okay, like...
These are so funny because I remember like it is ingrained in my head, every bad set I have. Like that feeling of, there's so much shame.
Yeah.
Of going on stage and going, I thought this was funny, and everyone's going, it was not funny.
But you know, I've had like many sets where, I wouldn't say sets, I've had many times where it just was not good. Like the audience was not reacting to me. And I don't think at those times it wasn't the joke because those jokes killed in other rooms. And then when that happens, I never feel bad. I just go with the bad vibes. I'm like, all right, y'all not gonna laugh. Well, here comes my shittiest jokes, and I bring out my phone and then I try out my shitty jokes. But I think like the worst feeling recently is like I did some mini little tour in Netherlands where I was opening for this British comedian. And I don't know, Netherlands people are just not funny. I don't know. They're not. They're just very like they're just.
But they speak English though. Like,
they speak English, and they were all like, "This is a place where y'all can get like prostitutes by like window shopping. You can get weed. Yeah, it's like Sin City." And yet
it's like Europe's Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I made a joke about. But then when I got there, it felt like I was in some Republican town. Like it was like everybody's conservative. I made a joke about abortion or like, you know, like I was at a comedy stage and there was red curtains behind me. And I'm like, I hope you all know I'm here to make jokes, not to sell myself, because it was a red curtain.
Yeah.
No one laughed. And I'm like, you're not laughing? It's 1 p.m. There's prostitutes out on the street right now selling themselves, and you're not laughing at me. Anyways, they weren't funny. And then I felt like...
That's interesting, though. That they're like kind of Republican-y, even though they have like prostitutes and cocaine.
I think what it was that I was performing in front of a very conservative, older male crowd, and they didn't find me funny because the headliner is a male, and then he went on and he fucking killed.
Yeah.
And then I think that's why I mean by it was my worst period, because I started really questioning myself, thinking like, well, these jokes work in other places.
Yeah.
Why don't they work here? So I remember calling my partner and I'm like, yo, I don't know if I'm in the right field. And this was 3 months ago.
3 months ago?
Yeah, this was 3 months ago.
That's not too long ago. And you've
no,
been,
and then I came back.
active.
Yeah, and then I came back and I'm like, yo, fuck them. Fuck Netherlands. I'm not going to Netherlands. I'm just joking. If y'all want to hire me, I'm going to set my prices. Just let me know. I just gonna no, but
it does make a difference what demographic it is. It makes such a difference. I was so naive when I first started. I was like, no, if you're funny, it's always gonna work. You just have to, if you're funny enough, it's always gonna work. No, people just simply don't get it sometimes.
Well,
they don't get you, and that's just not your crowd, and that's okay.
So here's the thing: is like, yeah, it's, you know that there's like this old comedy saying like, never blame the audience.
Yeah.
I don't believe that anymore, because I used to think that,
yeah.
And I used to think, okay, I'm just gonna show up all the time. But now I believe that you can't win every room, but the point of a comedian is to try to do that, and then get to the point of your career where you don't need to win the room anymore. That's your room, so that when you sold tickets, everybody somehow knows you or knows of you, and they know your comedy. So like, why do you think they laugh in Netflix specials? That's their room.
Yeah.
That's, everybody knows them. They're not winning over like an open mic room.
Exactly. So this is somebody that they already like, because they purchased a ticket.
Exactly. So I don't believe that, but I still have to do the work to try to get people to laugh. But I do think there's a difference. So for instance, like I was doing a gig, I was doing back-to-back in Malmö and Lund for this one club. And I noticed the first night in Lund, it was like, we're talking about like 40, 50-year-old white Swedish audience. Like, I have jokes about racism. I have jokes about how...
And they'll get uncomfortable, like, ooh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, man, we don't do these types of things in Sweden. And I'm like, the hell you do. But I'm just joking, though.
Yeah.
So, like, that's not really my room. The next night, it was kind of still the same, but as a little bit more younger people. And and it did way better. But the first night when that happened, I remember a guy came up to me. He's probably your age. And he came up to me. He's like, you're so funny. But you know what? I think that the audience is too old for you.
Really?
Yeah. He said that. He was only 25. He lives in Malmö. He's like some dentist or whatever. He's like, you're really funny, but I think the audience is a bit too old.
Yeah.
So it happens. You just have to go with it and kind of make fun of it.
And I think the whole saying of never blame the audience, it's more of a mentality to have, because if you blame the audience, you don't give yourself that introspection to dissect your jokes. Okay, is it funny?
Yeah.
But if you're like self-aware enough, you can realize that it's not your demographic, but still be introspective. How can I still make it better?
Exactly. Try to play to them, right?
Exactly.
So a lot of the comedians that are making it big on social media, like, I'm not an expert at this, but I just sort of see what they're doing. A lot of them are getting big on clips on audience work, like crowd work. But that crowd is not always going to be your crowd. Yeah. So you have to sort of like be a bit flexible. And I think that's what bookers want these days, to see a comedian that can do good crowd work, because you have to think on your feet. Yeah. So I'm not saying I'm there yet. I hate doing crowd work.
You hate crowd work?
I've been emceeing. Really? I've been emceeing a couple times lately, and it's just like, emceeing is like being a bridesmaid at someone's wedding. It's like, ugh, I want to run my set and be funny, but I can't. I have to be like, next up is this girl that I don't find funny, but I have to tell you that she is funny. Here we go.
What if you just straight up was like, I hate her, but let's see what you guys think? No. That's my personal opinion. How about you?
I mean, that'd be funny. That's funny. But again, you have to think about the crowd,
yeah,
right?
It would be mean to the comedian too.
Yo, one time, I can't drop names, but one time this guy booked me to do MC, and then the crowd was really rough. We're talking about like 300 people, and they weren't really laughing, and I don't know. So, but then by the second half, everything was great. I'm getting them laughing, they're clapping. I'm having such a great time that I actually forgot the headliner's name.
Shit!
I forgot his name. I can't say his name, but like I said something completely different. I walk off the stage. I'm so proud of myself. And then he's like, it's this name, right? And I'm like, oh, fuck.
The headliner told you.
Like, yeah, the headliner told me.
Did you know that this is my name?
Yeah, and then he went on stage and he made a joke about it. But like, that's how what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not cut out for MC.
Never got booked again by him.
No, actually, he booked me again to be an MC.
You did?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, cool.
That man needs comedians. So it's like, but yeah, fuck it. MC is not my gig, but.
I don't know. I kind of like crowd working. I just like fucking around with the crowd.
But it depends.
But I like doing that when shit isn't going well.
Exactly.
I like turning to the crowd. I was like, okay, these are going to shit. These are going down the drain. Let's see what the fuck is up with y'all.
I think crowd work requires a certain level of confidence. And to be honest, like if you're good at it, it's probably because you have this confidence to talk to people. Mm-hmm. I'm very confident on stage, but I get a bit thingy when I have to do crowd work because you don't know how the crowd will react.
Yeah.
And I had one guy who was very misogynistic and he yelled something at me out from the stage. I have a joke where I say something. I make a joke about fedora guys, and I said, why don't you come inside? Mm-hmm. And then he yells right after, why don't he come inside you? And it's like it's
such a dumb guy joke. It's such a stupid.
But it was so. Guy. I called his mother a whore after. I was like, yo. I just lost it a bit. But at that point, I was just like, I'm not doing crowd work with such a fucking. That kind of messed up my mojo. So I feel like crowd work also is a gender thing. Like I think men have more ease with it because they can be confident and stand up there.
Yeah.
Because men do control the stage much easier than a woman.
Yeah, because it's like, first of all, you're bigger.
Yeah.
And you're less likely to get heckled because it's like, okay, I don't know what this guy knows.
Yeah.
So you're like a little careful, but
you're less likely to get heckled in a very disruptive way. Mm-hmm. But what I mean by own the stage is like, yeah, just exactly that, the body language. Like I'll be at open mic trying new things and then new comedians, a guy that's never tried anything. Uh-huh. It's like he owns the stage. Like he's been on there for 3 years.
Yeah.
He's shit, but if I even had an ounce of that fucking confidence, I wouldn't even be here, bro. I'd be like sunglasses with Kanye, just chilling right now.
You just gotta, I don't know, take some like those testo boosters, that's testosterone, just fucking inject some.
I gotta take like placebo Flintstone pills or something, and just be like,
what?
I don't know, just look in the mirror every day and be like, you can do it, you can do it. You know, some sort of Joe Rogan motivational quotes or whatever.
Yeah, just write them with lipstick on your mirror.
Use beautiful. Anyways.
Use beautiful.
Yeah.
Use fine.
Use fine. Use
beautiful.
Use
kind.
Use smart.
Use smart.
Is that from that movie?
It's from that movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Help.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's...
Why did my second grade teacher show the class that?
Yo, how old are you?
What do you mean?
Second grade teacher? I watched that movie that movie came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know why my second grade teacher just showed that movie. It was like an old movie.
You were in second grade when you watched that movie?
I think so. Or maybe sixth grade.
Sorry. I'm so shocked I moved the mic. How young are you? I don't even want to know anymore. Just forget it.
I'm a young lad.
You're a young lad. I have braces. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm keeping them on just to look
How long have you had them for?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah. And then
Isn't it time?
It's time. But I'm hanging on.
Why are you?
Because it makes me look.
Wait, younger. You can't afford to take them off, can you?
He's like, it's gonna cost you 800 euros to take them off. I'm like, you know what? They look good on. Let's do another year.
They have a charm to them.
I can't believe it costs that much to take it off.
Wait, is that legitimately why? I was joking.
No, I gotta take them off. I'm just saying it does cost a lot, you know. I was like, yo, take them off. Let me sell that fucking metal to some Romanians. Like, fuck. Yeah. Like, I'm just like.
Wait, what is it? Titanium?
I don't even know. It's probably aluminum, and he's just lying to me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm catching like signals from the satellites.
It's low-key a flex if you go to the States at least with braces. You're like, oh, that costs. It's a flex.
Isn't yeah? It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Free. I got it for free. I have braces.
Yeah, but I got it after the brace age.
Oh.
So I was paying out of pocket.
Damn. Mm-hmm. How much did you pay?
6,500 euros.
What?
Yeah, now you know I want to keep
I thought you were about to say crowns.
What? I fucking wish. No, now
over here?
Yes, man, because I just got them 2 years ago, and that's what. Yes, and like that's why I'm saying, like, let me just keep them on because it's like so expensive to take them off.
It's like having a gold chain.
I know. I could just wrap like the gold little tinsels around it, and I got my like what is it called?
Grills.
Grills. It's been a long time since I said that word. Grills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Toronto thing.
Is it a Toronto thing?
Yeah. No, I had them for free because
it's a good system.
Top and bottom. Wait, do you have top and bottom?
Top and bottom.
Top and bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was going on? Overbite?
Yeah, it was such an overbite that he's like, you have such an overbite that you can get a rebate from the government Because the government is trying to correct overbites in the population.
Oh, shit. We need to get these overbites under control.
This is a public policy, overbites.
The Treasury set aside money for the overbites in the population. That's crazy.
He told me that. And I'm like, is that for real? He's like, yeah. We just don't like overbites over here.
We cannot have a population walking around with overbites.
So I'm expecting
You're embarrassing us in front of the other Europeans.
I'm expecting like $2,000 in rebates.
€2,000 euros?
Yes, I always think in euros when I think about, because the crown is so. Yeah,
I always think in dollars.
I don't think in dollars. I actually still think in euros.
Really?
I definitely don't think in pounds.
You don't think Canadian dollars either?
The Canadian dollar is like worth nothing. I can literally light these stacks of cash on fire. It's fucking nothing. I have zero money, but when I go to Canada, I feel rich with the Swedish crown, and the Swedish crown is shit.
It is. The inflation
so the Canadian,
is eating that shit up.
Oh my god, it's insane.
This is the part of the podcast where we talk about inflation. Because we're adults.
Okay. I don't.
We're not. We're
okay,
not.
We're not.
We're definitely not talking about.
I was gonna bring up my Excel charts. Okay, go on.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Overbites, but that was like we derailed.
Worst set, and then MC.
Worst set, yeah. And you said a comedian. It was like crowd. A comedian came up to you. Was like, "This is not your crowd."
Yeah, I wouldn't say these are worst. Like, like honestly, I've bombed so many times. I don't even care. And sometimes, actually, most of the times when I'm at open mics now to try new material, I don't like when they put me last because sometimes like Tito will put me last or like stuff. I don't like that because it's like it's an expectation that I have to do good, and I'm like I don't want to do good. I want to test. I want to throw things on the wall and then see if it works. But if you're last, then people expect you to like kind of be. Deliver like, really good.
Exactly.
Like I want to stand up there and be like, have a list of my jokes and be like, so that didn't work. It probably didn't work because you're all a racist, and then just joke around like that. So
I like being in the middle. I don't like starting. I don't like being last either.
Sometimes I don't mind starting. It depends. It depends on the night. Because sometimes the people empty out by the end. Yeah. And then you have just a bunch of drunks. So I'm still in the open mic scene, bro. Here we are.
It's fun, but it's hell sometimes.
I have a lot of fun doing it. I think it's work though.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tito this morning because we were just like talking about comedy, and he's like, "What would you say to someone who wants to try it?" And I'm like, "Just try it." I think everybody should try stand up once in their life.
Once in their life.
Yeah, because like everybody's
public speaking.
Yeah, they're all afraid. Like the people are afraid that if they say something, the audience won't laugh. The reality check is that they probably won't laugh. Like 9 out of 10, they won't laugh.
And the thing is, it's okay.
It's totally okay. And then you try it and you get over that fear. I think like people should try it. But the reality is that it's only the toughest that grind out that industry.
Yeah.
Like really grind it out for years.
You have to be really like okay with.
You have to be okay with the lack of money, with the hours, how you do it, like.
You have to be okay with bombing and then sitting next to the crowd afterwards. Like getting down and then look people in the eye after you bombed.
I think so. But like, I don't think my advice would be like the open mics are to bomb. I think you would feel worse if you had a paid gig and you kind of didn't do well.
Yeah, I was like, oh, fuck.
And that's happened to me where I've done a paid gig and it just not go well.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, like that tour I did in Amsterdam. It was lukewarm.
That was like a paid gig.
Yeah, there's paid and it was lukewarm and I'm like.
So do you have like an audience in Amsterdam? Is that how you got them to pay, or
no? It was a booker. He wanted me. He didn't obviously pay me as much as a headliner, but he's like, you can come along and whatever. So so these are some very different types of bookers that I work with. The goal would be to get an agent who. I have to get to a certain point where I get an agent who knows me and my sense of humor and doesn't restrict me from the things that I say.
I mean, what agents are going to look at is like, okay, how many tickets can you sell? How much of a buzz do you have?
And I'm not there yet.
You just got to grind it out. Just grind it out.
But you're young, and this is another thing about this industry is like being young is a huge advantage because of the hours that you have to do this at night, of the traveling that you have to do. You don't like, for me, I'm in the age where like,
you don't want to move outside the bedroom. It's a fucking hassle.
Poor back. No, but like I want to start a family and stuff, and that doesn't stop people. But like the reality is, men who have families, it's easy to have a family. You leave the baby at home. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go fuck off and do a 3-day tour for basically 100 pounds. And it's going to be mediocre, but hold the baby. It's like, hold the baby. But it's like women can't because it would be, so I'm not saying that they can, but it'd be harder. And you're young. So like I've noticed the comedians that make it are much younger. And that's good though. Just grind it out. Even if it's painful, grind it out because your youth is on your side.
I started off super early.
Yeah.
Like doing comedy.
And
like,
just keep doing it.
Yeah. But not just like stand-up, just social media.
Yeah,
like
I saw. You've gotten them sketches.
How far back did you scroll?
No, I have a attention span of like a parrot. Like really, it's like not long.
No, I started when I was like 16.
No, I saw your skits. I mean, I saw that you have a lot of skits on there.
Yeah.
You started that account at 16?
Not that account, but I started like trying to do social media at 16.
How long did it take to build that?
Until I have what I have now?
Yeah.
8 years.
So long.
And I was so shit.
Yeah.
I was so unfunny, but I wanted to do it so bad. I wanted to be funny so bad. I was literally Googling
how to be funny.
Yeah, how to write a joke, how to be funny. And I'm
but that's
looking at
good,
this
though.
shit.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I hate myself because this is so bad.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning when I was like making videos.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was like Googling it pissed me off. And I'm like, why can't I just... But funny. I was still Googling it and I was looking at the breakdown of a joke and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get what the fuck. Like, why is it getting... Like, every video explaining how to write a joke, it doesn't... I don't know why. It's just like you have to... humor, you have to just cultivate it. Well, and I did that through watching comedians.
That's
watching
good.
comedians and watching funny stuff. Like, I loved Family Guy growing up.
Yeah, that is funny.
Family Guy is so stupid and so funny. I watched a lot of comedians, a lot of comedians doing interviews, talking about comedy and then their process, like getting from the actual comedians, the source, and just seeing what you find funny. I think seeing funny stuff and laughing, I think that's what trains you to be funny. Like actually consuming and realizing what's funny to you.
Yeah, that's important. But I would say, like, I don't think it's bad at all that you read How to Write a Joke. Because that's exactly what I did.
Oh, that you didn't say that.
No, I didn't. No, because when I started...
Right after telling T, so you've been doing comedy for 2 years, you're like, okay, I got to figure this out.
It's like, no, after the first time I did stand-up, I downloaded a lot of comedy books. I tried to figure out how it is to write. And, like, the basic universal principle to a joke is, like, you have a setup. And then you have a punchline. Yeah. But the punchline is just a misdirection. So you set the joke up and the audience thinks you're going to say something. They're assuming, but you said the opposite. Yeah. And if you... And
it somehow makes sense when you think about it.
It makes sense, but it's not too unrealistic or, you know, and then you add all these things later. But
it's really creativity is just, you know, connecting seemingly unconnected things.
Exactly. And so I don't think that's weird that you did that because comedy at the end is just writing. It's learning how to do creative writing. And I'm actually currently in a comedy course now. So that's why I said we have to do this at 4 because my comedy course is at 8. That was a
comedy course.
Yeah, it's at 8. So I'm working online with a...
Because I was like, what kind of course is at 8 p.m.?
Yeah, so it's a comedian who used to write for the BBC in London, and he's doing this online course, and it's 4 weeks, and it's very helpful.
What's the name of the comedian?
Logan Murray. Okay. I can't give a review because I'm only in the second week of the course. But Logan Murray, and he works with ideas like how to write jokes in certain ways. But I think this is important because it helps you be more fluid with your thoughts. So I think you're on the right track. Like,
what have you learned so far from the course?
We had this homework that I have to go home and like do a little bit more. But like this is Logan Murray stuff, copyright. But so like if you have you're saying something but you mean the other thing. So he's like the exercise is like try to write a sarcastic letter to somebody like an institution or a person, and you're being very sarcastic but essentially you mean the other thing, right? Like I have a joke where I'm trying to cultivate this joke where it's like, you know, there's so much war going on and there's so many problems in the world, so I decided to do what other women are doing, like just meditate. But I find it really hard. But I notice that white women are very good at it. And it's because when they close their eyes, they just have nothing to worry about. They're just chilling. But he's essentially what he's saying is write something and then you mean the opposite. So here's an example. I don't know if you read this book. It's by Jonathan Swift called The Modest Proposal. It was written in the 1800s. Have you heard of this book?
I haven't.
It's written in the 1800s, and he's being very...
Hold on, my camera about to do this thing.
In the book, it's written in like the 1800s or something. He's like some sort of like official or something. Essentially what he's writing in the book is like, you know what, maybe we should eat poor children, you know, because they just taste good. All that misery and all that poverty that they're in, we should do it, and it's going to help the environment, and we can like just clean things up. And he's doing that sarcastically to show people that that, you know, this is how bad our society is, that we need to think about this as a solution.
Why does that sound so familiar? Was that like a...
It could be like someone did like a
little segment on a newspaper about it.
Yeah, something like that. It's not a crazy... It's a very well-known idea.
Okay.
So I'm just blabbing on because I haven't really done the homework. But essentially, like... Okay, so like I make a joke about... So feminism. So I'll talk about the negative stuff of feminism, but I'll do it in a very positive way, but I'm really mean the opposite.
Yeah. Well, what are some negative things about feminism that you find? Because you're a feminist.
Okay, so it's a joke, but like I'll say like like as a serious feminist, I took a pole dancing class because I think that that's a way to test my I don't know, my freedoms. Anyways, I rubbed the pole so hard, I found out the harder you rub it, the more you get equal pay. So like, you know, it's just like I'm making fun of something to show you the other thing. Yeah, that's my joke, but
that's kind of funny. The harder, the more you get equal pay. And it's guys.
I know, and then I just rubbing it really hard. I'm like, and then if you go a little bit harder, you actually are.
You get equality.
Yeah. And a little bit harder, and you motorboat the thing with your tits, and you might get respect. It's like, so you say something, but you mean the other, right? And what I obviously mean is like, you know, a lunchtime class on pole dancing hasn't really achieved as much quality as we wanted. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting like in any way oppressed, like in a country like this, though?
In Sweden?
In Sweden, other than being heckled on stage because guys are being drunk.
I think there's definitely a level of segregation that not even Toronto has.
Really?
Oh yeah, like
segregation. You mean like men, like not
like racial segregation, like
racial
immigrants living in different neighborhoods and stuff.
Okay, yeah, definitely that.
I mean, ghettos exist in all big cities, but I think because Toronto is such a big city, but it's so multicultural. Like I've never experienced racism.
In Toronto?
No,
or ever.
And like, of course, that's only to my face. Who knows what people say behind my back? And obviously, there's structural racism. So who knows if I've ever given in a job and someone declined me based on my name? That could. What I'm saying is, I haven't faced a confrontational racism where someone's like, dirty, tacky, or whatever.
Right.
But that's because the city's so big, and I always grew up in like mixed neighborhoods. But when I got here, it's very clear that, you know, this is where the white Swedes live, and this is where everybody else lives. Yeah. And they can literally live like streets apart, but it's still very segregated. Different worlds. Like nobody's even...
No, like you don't understand.
Like different worlds.
Yeah, when I was going to middle school, it was like just the closest thing to me.
Yeah.
And it was literally 0 Swedish people.
In your middle school?
In my entire middle school.
Okay.
Like from grade like fucking 1 to 9.
Damn.
No Swedes.
Yeah.
And do you know how the like high school system works? Like you get a certain amount of points, and then you can get into a certain high school that requires like an average, you know, of whatever. Like you get a certain amount of points based on your degrees. And I had like really good grades.
Yeah.
So I went to a school across town.
Okay.
And I go there.
It's all Swedes.
It's all Swedes.
Oh, shit.
And they behave so differently.
Yeah.
They dress so differently. And it was like literally from going here one day to going to this place the other day. And the first thing I noticed is like they don't like how loud I am. Yeah. That was like the first thing. They're like, because everyone where I was, everyone's just, you know, yelling and talking loud because they're talking over each other and they're like aggressive and they're, you know, they just coming home. They come into school from, you know, families that are, you know, that have problems at home because they just immigrated here and the dad is mad because he's working hours that aren't fun or good and he's coming home and, you know, it's just tension in the family. And then they come to school with that. And then that's the environment, just a bunch of people like stealing from the school, like computers,
it's unfortunate,
threatening you,
yeah,
want your money.
they stole the computers.
I swear to God.
It's like,
yeah, I would like not bring my phone with me to school. It's like, I know it's gonna get stolen. I'm not doing it. And teachers getting threatened constantly.
Yeah,
constantly. And like, I think one teacher, my cousin told me about this, because she goes to the school that I used to go to. One teacher bought weed from the students.
no way.
Yeah. and then they're like, you better give us an A.
No
or
way.
We're gonna snitch on you.
Oh my God.
That you bought weed from us, and also, we know where your family lives and whatnot. We're gonna do some shit to you. And she's like, oh fuck. She just gave him A's.
What?
Yes, this happened in the school. And then I go from an environment like that to just Ralph Lauren button downs, just waxing their hair, Swedish. And I just go from that to that, and I'm immediately like, yeah, they're not gonna fuck with me. And I was alone for like 2 years. High school is like 3 years.
Yeah.
The first 2 years, I was just like still like trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
Yeah. But
So,
this stuff happens in Toronto too.
Yeah.
So like when of course, like we have high school 4 years, so 2 years I was in a high school that was very like in a nice neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Literally across the high school is like $1 million mansions. Yeah. And so the teachers are clearly more invested. There's better arts programs. Then I had to move to another high school because we moved into we downgraded an area. Mm-hmm. And it's like there was a knife fight in the middle of the school kind of stuff. And like, and if like people stealing stuff. And I think a friend also stole a computer one time. And like I would steal muffins from the cafeteria. That's the furthest I've ever went. But like, it happens. That's what I'm saying. It's not like big cities don't have this, but for some reason here, it's very. I think it's just more. It's more prominent, and it's so. What's I'm finding the word? Like it's so. It's just so racist, because in Toronto we have generational immigrants. It's not just like my parents have been there. There are many immigrant families that are grandparents have been in Canada, and then great grand. So it's like there's so many families that have grown up in Toronto, and so it's so mixed, right? But in Sweden, it's a lot of influx of new immigrants in these new areas, and the segregation is so steep, and it's like a misunderstanding. It's not they don't want to understand, I think, Swedish society of these other immigrants.
Yeah, I have some Swedish friends that are like, we gotta drop you off where? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine, it's cool, trust me. And they're like, yeah.
But the funny thing is like, so I remember I was talking to like some sort of a co-worker of mine, and she was Eastern European, and she was saying she'd rather get up 6 or 5 in the morning to drop her kids off at a school that's way across the town, just because it's safer and there's no immigrants in that school, and she's Eastern European, versus going to a school that's on the same block, but there's no Swedish children there. Yeah. So this is what I mean. It's very like.
I'm kind of glad that I got both perspectives, seeing both like cultures. Yeah, I mean, like so different.
So like when I moved here, people ask me, "Is like, do you feel comfortable in Sweden, or do you like it here?" It's like, I don't really care how people treat me because I'm from Toronto. Like if you even try to be racist to me, it's like I don't give a shit about. I like this country because I
think that's also a thing that you have to be as a comedian.
Yeah, you can't give a shit, but it's like, what are you gonna say? Like, I already know. I don't worry about those things, but
I feel like as soon as somebody tries to say some shit like that, I'm in a roasting battle. Like I'm not trying to, say some shit. But
like to be honest, I don't find Swedes that interesting, anyways. Even if they say,
what do you mean?
I don't find them that like it's like because that story you just said where you were the loudest at high school. Yeah, they are very quiet people.
Yeah, Swedish people are, and I'm like loud at 9 a.m. and they're like, dude.
At my old job. Swedish coworkers, and then there's one girl from Greece, and them be loud. These girls are loud, and I loved her because she's so like outgoing and friendly and very helpful, and she just talks loud, and everyone was just like bothered by it, just because her voice was loud. Yeah, it's just like they're just quiet, not much to say. They think they're so funny people. I do like them though. I do like this country. It's a very nice country. Like, right.
Have you gotten your uppehållstillstånd?
I have my permanent. What do you think I'm out here with no papers?
I was like, no, I like this country a lot. I like the people here. They're cool.
If I could just get those papers approved, that'd be great. What are you talking about, man? I'm sitting here like running from the police, pausing to do a podcast from you. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, of course
the
I got my
cop's just
papers.
waiting for you outside. It's like, as soon as she finishes this podcast, she is so done for.
It's over. No, I got my papers. I'm supposed to be applying for citizenship this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think
What made you make the move from that's so random from Canada, Toronto? To
my ex-husband was Swedish. Is Swedish.
Oh.
So we got married, and then he didn't want to move because I told him, let's just move to Canada. I was really adamant about that, but he didn't want to. So he's like, okay.
Did he visit?
Yeah,
he saw it.
Nah, because I said Canada's much better, and then he's like, no. And then I moved here, and then I just got used to everything, and then I've just built a comedy career here.
And you liked it here better?
I do, because the living standards in Canada is not great.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's very expensive, and it's I think that the system here, social services, is much better. I think Sweden definitely has problems. But I don't know, when you travel the world a lot and you have experience, then you just sort of sit back and you just do your thing. Now I'm just enjoying life, and I like where my comedy is going here. And I don't mind being here.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's just
the thing is, I used to romanticize just moving to the States because I was
because you lived in LA.
I lived in New York.
Why? I thought you lived in LA.
No, I'm back and forth between LA now.
What are you doing in LA?
Stuff.
Okay.
No, but it's
and his OnlyFans address is
my OnlyFans address. No, my OnlyFans would not garner anything.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm back and forth between here and LA because I'm in contact with a lot of agencies over there, and most of my friends live in LA too. So, and they're all social media people too. So they all live there. So I'm just every year.
You should try comedy in LA.
You know what? I've never done comedy in LA. I've done comedy in New York, but that was so early on. I was so not confident on stage. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But I should do it now that I've gotten more experience.
Yeah, and then do it, and then keep at it. I was in Toronto 2 years ago. I go every year, but 2 years ago, I remember I was doing stand-up, and I saw this girl, and she was on before me, and I was like, cool, whatever. She was all right, and then I went on, and she's like, yeah, you're really funny. I'm like, cool. And then I left, and we added each other on Instagram. And now I have a paid spot out in London in January. And I was looking at the posters of this Instagram account. I'm like, yo, this girl looks familiar. And it's that girl. She was in Toronto. And then I went through her Instagram to figure out what she's doing in London. And she moved to London 2 years ago, I believe. And now she's just won some BBC Comedy Award.
Really?
Yeah, and it's that's what it takes. You have to I think that's awesome that she grinded it out like that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you just go, and I didn't particularly remember her killing or anything, but that's not the point, because I don't think you can kill every gig. It's how you grind it out and show up all the time. And now she's won an award. And I think comedy competitions are really good, because if you put yourself out there and you win that competition, or at least come second, third place, you can put it on your profile, and it opens up doors for more spots for you. So I try to do comedy competitions. So I was impressed when I saw that. I'm like, damn, I could definitely do that too. I never get jealous.
Yeah, because you did a comedy competition and you won.
Yeah, it was the only one in Sweden, but I won.
Is it the only one?
It's, I think, the only big...
It's Sweden's biggest comedy.
Yeah.
But it's also Swedish only comedy competition. So it's also Swedish smallest comedy competition.
Yeah, there are, to be fair, there have been smaller competitions, but they're mostly organized by big clubs. Yeah. But this is Sweden's state-funded.
State-funded? Really?
Well, because it's Lund Comedy Festival, so I suppose it's
How many people show up and watch comedy over there?
I don't know. They do it once a year. This is the first time I actually went there. And what I mean by state funded, I mean it's part of the cultural investment going into London. And I didn't even know, but 42 people participated in that comedy competition. So it was fun to win.
Yeah. Have you gotten more gigs since then?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it does help to do that.
Just put your business email in your profile.
No, but I put it on my Instagram.
Just emails start flooding in.
It's all you need to know is I'm 5'2" and I won this competition. But I put it on my Instagram so that what I do is I try to reach out to every booker anywhere and I say like, I won this. Check out my Instagram. Here are my clips. This is how you have to hustle.
Yeah. 100%.
And then they're like, okay, cool. Or no, I've been rejected. When I get rejected, it hurts deep.
Does it?
Yeah, I get really dramatic. They reject me. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, your mom is a big fucking whore, and I know I want to step foot in your club again and bun you and bum your mama too. And then I just said that.
You just shift gears into a Jamaican accent.
Exactly.
Go suck your mother.
It's just like super Toronto Jamaican, and I'm like, boop, send, and it's just like, and my partner's like, rejection's part of the game. I'm like, but I play a different game. It's called being mad, anger and
eat a
bitter.
tub of ice cream and send a hate mail with a VPN so they can't track it back to me.
And there's this one comedy gig. It's called it's on a boat, and they did not reply back. I emailed them
on a boat.
It's on a boat, and it's like I 3 times.
3 times. You were insisting.
I really
insist upon yourself.
I know. I really wanted this gig, and then they didn't reply. And I'm like, I was so close to sending a message like, I hope that boat sinks. I hope you're the next Titanic. I hope everyone goes. Fuck you.
Did they find that funny? I'd be like, you know what?
No, I didn't send that, bro. I didn't send that.
You didn't send it?
No, obviously not.
It'd be funny as hell.
That's psychotic if I did.
It'd be a shame if they're an iceberg right where you're.
It's like, yeah. So I don't even know what we're talking about, but rejection happens in the game.
Yeah. Man, I remember the worst fucking gig I did. Like this open mic gig I did. It was at Viva.
Yeah, of course.
Of course it was at Viva. And I literally went up on stage and I was like, I had a beer in my hand. And I was like, guys, last time I got up drunk on stage, I bombed so horribly that I asked a lady if she had had an abortion, which I did.
I think I was there for that.
When I was drunk. And then as I was drinking my drink, I got fucked up again on stage.
No.
And I asked a lady if she had an abortion.
Oh my God.
Like I topped it. No. You know how bad it was? But I felt so shit for 3 days. 72 hours of
why?
No. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Because there was other shit in my life that was not going right at that specific time. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go to Viva, get a good set, and feel good about myself. I went there, just depleted my confidence. Just fuck you. Just fuck whatever you got going on. Fuck your life. Oh, you thought it was bad before? Here's 60 people in the city that hate you now.
Okay.
Like that. It was that. Because I was doing anything I started tap dancing.
On stage?
On stage. Mind you.
Okay.
And here's the kicker. I don't know how to tap dance.
Oh my God. And you look like you have 2 big feet.
I got off stage.
Yeah.
And Tito's MC, right? He goes up on stage and he goes, I was like, was it that bad in my head? And then he goes up on stage and he goes, well, he's good at English. And everyone laughed. And when everyone laughed at that, I was like, oh, it was that bad. They hate me. Put my hoodie on and left. I could not look people in the eye. But somehow I muster up the courage to still do it.
You have to, though. That. But my advice
not
is
at Viva.
But you know why? I think Viva's I would consider Viva to be my home club. Everybody has a club that they just go to. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because it's so hit or miss. Yeah. Because the people don't even know they're there for comedy. They're just there on their dates. They're forced there. And then I have a rule that I think if it's funny at Viva, that means it generally works. Mm-hmm. That's my rule. Yeah, and so that's why I try things and I don't like to go last because I want to just throw stuff. Mm-hmm. But I also think that I would say this to you is don't drink because there's only very few times that I would drink a little bit before just to calm my nerves, but it had nothing. But what it does is it kind of puts you in another headspace. So I would say don't drink and just go up and just bomb. Mm-hmm. So you can't blame anything on anything else. Right. And then do you record yourself?
Yeah. Sometimes.
You better fucking watch that.
Yeah, it's difficult to watch when I have a bad set.
I don't know who said this.
But I have to wait a couple of days to disconnect from who that was, whoever that was, that person that went open. Then I can watch it and be like, all right.
I don't know who said this. It was a comedian in an interview. I can't remember, but he said watch yourself, and it's so cringe. It's so cringe to watch yourself. Yeah. But if you put the audience through that, then you better watch it yourself.
Oh my God.
And then and then you watch it and then you realize where did you go bad, and like then you try to change the wording, and then you get back to your writing. Because like, yeah, I love how you love abortion jokes. Every man loves abortion jokes apparently. But that's fine. If it's funny, it's funny. But I'm saying like just keep at it, but treat it like a science. Like you made an experiment.
Yeah.
You have to go back and see what the results are.
Right.
Right. I'm one to talk because I literally go up and I'll be like, if I'm bombing a little bit, I'll like let loose. I'll be like, you know what? Here comes my worst jokes ever. You guys deserve it. And then I just fucking further bomb at
Oh,
that
you don't
point.
think this is funny?
Okay.
Here's
Like,
your worst experience.
yeah, exactly. So I don't drink at all. The reason why I don't drink is because, one, I have to pay for it unless they're paying.
I mean, that's what they do at Carousel Comedy.
Yo, I heard Carousel is like buffet, like seafood buffet.
Well, relax.
I was gonna come here for shrimp.
It's tapas.
Yo, I saw a picture of Donatus. He's a comedian. Like,
Yeah.
he
was there. He was there
a
with
whole
me.
plate of food, just putting mouth. I'm like, yo, I'm just giving everybody food. Like, it's like fucking
Food and
Ramadan
drink.
every day on Wednesday.
Food and drink.
What?
Yeah, I got like 2 free beers, and then you get like tapas.
Yo,
Yeah, so I did
Amos
that.
Connect is amazing.
Yeah.
It's Ramadan at Carousel Comedy, guys.
Bro,
every Wednesday.
No, it's and the owner is super cool. I think he's done like what is it like? I think he might have. I think he mentioned studying like theater or something, so he
cool.
can really like. He's a super cool dude.
Yeah.
Like whatever the comedians want. Oh, we'll fix this. We'll get it like this. We'll set up the stage however you want it. Oh, is this good? Can we do this? Do you need something like whatever the comedians need? Like he'll make sure they have it.
Yeah.
Food, drinks before all that. Like super cool. So I don't know. They just treat comedians like super well over there.
I try not to drink before. That's sad.
And the thing is, it's like a separate room. It's a separate room for comedy. So it's not like you forcing people. Like people finish eating and then they go into that room because they want to see comedy. So the audience is usually cool because they came there voluntarily.
Okay. I heard it's a small room though.
It's a small room. I think it fits like if it's packed like 50 people. But
Well,
that's
not bad.
solid. That's solid.
That's solid.
Super solid. It's low ceiling, cozy.
Every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday.
I think Ahmad has me on next Wednesday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Damn, I should... Because I was trying to get on this Wednesday, but it was like overbooked.
What?
Yeah.
How many people does he have on?
I don't know, but he said it was overbooked. But usually it's like between 6 and 9 people.
Everyone's playing.
They have like one break in between the sets. One time I went up on there. Yeah. But I went after the break, and it was like 5 women left. There was 5 women left, and I'm like,
that happens, dude.
But for some reason, it went well.
It went well.
It went well. It went so well, and we had so much fun.
Yeah, you just have to learn how to do it. Like I did in front of 2 guys and a dog one time.
2 guys and a dog.
Yeah, he's like, come to our cultural event here in like Gamlastan in Göteborg. It's connected to this culture school. I'm like, why is it like some fucking hippie and a crackhead and his dog? I was like, what the fuck? It was a very painful 20 minutes. So
you did 20?
I did 20. It's just me doing crowd work with the dog.
Who's been a good boy?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like you gotta work every room. I told you.
The dog starts heckling, just as far as barking.
It's like, get your ass off stage. Yeah.
Man, someone's hadn't gotten their pedigree.
So, crazy rooms. But yeah, I'm gonna do that next Wednesday.
I'm gonna try to get on next Wednesday too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be fun. It's fun.
It is fun.
It's super fun.
You know.
But unless you have those nights that I had at Viva, that was so.
I've had those nights, but you shouldn't sweat that. I've had those nights.
No, now it's hilarious.
Yeah,
looking back at it, it's so funny.
It's so painful. Yeah,
it's so painful and funny to be like, what an idiot.
Yeah.
What the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah.
Kind of roasting yourself, but in the moment, it's the worst possible feeling ever. But yeah,
you do it more, and then you just sit in it, and I'm just like, okay, this is fine.
It's crazy to sit on something for 3 days that took 7 minutes to do.
I've had those feelings too, where like one time my bombed so bad I had to take a shower after. Like literally, I was like,
just scrub with scorching hot water.
Shame in this. Like it's so like.
But
so
you
bad.
like cauterize. You become like stronger.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You like, okay, if I went through that.
Yeah.
like the threshold for when I feel that shame is like way like I've gone through a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's like
I'm tougher than a old woman's bunions. I'm just like tough.
yeah, you just like
Just
a woman
hard.
with arthritis.
Yeah, just
Tough.
hard. I'm hard.
Fucking
Tough woman. But yeah.
yeah. It's I can't wait for you to actually see that.
What?
The spot.
In Carousel?
Carousel. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get me on there, but it's also been busy with. But I'm happy to go now because I need tapas, bro.
You need tapas. And
Mama's
it's
on a,
good.
Mama's on a tight budget. Like I just need to do stuff that's.
How tight is your budget? Like
I'm like the goal is to be a full-time comedian 2024.
okay.
Right.
That's a solid goal.
Yeah, but like that means I have to get in income that covers bills plus more, and rent, obviously.
How much do you feel like you need to charge a gig before you can be like, all right, you know what? I can make a living off of this.
So like in the early beginning, because you're new, they're offering literally nothing, very little.
Yeah. But what is that? Like 500 crowns?
500 to 1,000 crowns.
Yeah.
Right. I think like now with a little bit of experience under my belt, and then you get a little bit of credentials and whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like winning awards, these things help. Being recognized by other comedians, and even the bookers watching you. You can double that price and then triple it. Like I need, like I think a solid should be around like 3,000, 4,000.
Yeah,
because you have to pay taxes on that as well.
Right.
But I know people like I'm not gonna like be negative, but like I know people who are far worse than like me.
Yeah, getting way better.
Way better, bro. It's all about negotiating. Like it's people who are just like, and people will lowball me.
Of course.
Yo, like crazy.
Never accept the first offer.
But at the same time, it's like. I have a rule, like if it's in the city and it's not the number that I want, I'll do it. I'll treat it like an open mic. So I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. And I don't care. But if it's like
this is what $50 gets you.
Exactly. But I won't be doing stuff for 50 and I don't do stuff for 50. But like, you know, if it's if it's outside the city, no, you have to pay or I won't take it because like then I'll lose money and I could just use that time to be writing better material and perform better in other places.
Right.
So it's hard because you need to really negotiate a lot. And you have to say no. And then if you say no, they might not.
You have to be okay with it.
You have to be okay with it. And they might not come back. And it's just like, you know what? Bun you and your mama too. And then just you have to.
I think you have to like in your head set a price.
What's your worth?
Yeah.
And
if they offer that, you have to be like, okay, I'm going to take it even though it's on the lower end of what I wanted.
So it's being like very frugal and budgety as well when I get on this journey. But that's the goal that I have. So hopefully, yeah,
I'm just trying to build up the audience. I don't know, I don't approach it in that same way, in the sense of like wanting to get like spots by bookers. I'm just trying to get good at comedy to the point where I can, you know, I'm confident I can give people a good show and then just sell tickets to my online audience.
It takes time. It's taken me like a couple years.
Yeah.
You need to get like a good 10 minutes solid of material that works.
You see me do stand up like once or twice.
Yeah.
I think the second time you saw me do it, I was like probably the better time I did it.
Yeah.
But that was like what, 8 minutes?
That was 8 minutes.
But it wasn't like airtight either. Like
no,
it could still be.
You did a lot of audience work.
Yeah.
So did I. I mean, like, sometimes when you apply for competitions or like spots, they'll ask you for like 10-minute clips of no audience work. So it's just 10 minutes of you doing the straight set. So you have to be mindful of that. I think this, like, a comedian told me this. He's like, don't be eager to quit your day job. Like, because what it'll do is force you into desperation. You have to give yourself a lot of time to play. You have to play with humor and with jokes. You have to first understand the structure of a joke, but you have to play with it. And like, it's good that you're doing that where you're not thinking of it in terms of money, and you're playing. Like, I'm not really thinking of it in terms of money, and I can happily accept the job if I'm not making enough.
Right.
Because that would actually even take pressure off of me. And then I would be able to just do whatever I want.
Do it more loosely.
More loosely, right? I was just very unhappy in my last job, so I quit. So now I can find another job. But I'm saying, like, just play around with it and understand the structure of a joke and then keep going. And that's why you record yourself, because then you start realizing, all right, this is the bit that worked, this didn't, this bit worked, let's condense it. Now I have 10 solid minutes. They usually say it takes a couple years to get 10 minutes, by the way.
Couple of years, like when you first start out?
Yeah. No, for a couple years to...
I feel like that would be like in the beginning.
Yeah, I think as you accelerate.
I don't think like you're 15 years into comedy, it still takes you 3 years.
You've only mastered 30 minutes in 15 years. No,
I can only work in 10-minute increments.
No, I think the more you do it, the better you get at it. And that's the other thing. You have to do it more like if you go to big cities like Toronto, New York, and London, these comedians are doing it every single day.
Every single day, several times.
Yeah, open
several
mics.
Times a day.
Like I was there in London in October. I met a comedian when I was doing a spot, and he's like, "I gotta go. I gotta do another show." He's doing shows back to back. In Gothenburg, it's so small. The most you do it is like 2 times a week, if you're lucky, actually. So I would try to do it 2 to 3 times a week. I would try to get myself. I still get myself to Stockholm to do open mics there, so I'm not even getting paid, just to try out what works in Stockholm.
How do you feel like the comedy scene is over there?
It's fine. You just get more opportunities to do things. I don't think it's a massive difference from here.
Yeah.
No. I think the crowd might be younger in some places, but it's open mic is open mic. I was an open mic in London.
Over there?
They're fine. Everyone's like, Stockholm's so uppity. It's like, nobody cares about Stockholm versus Gothenburg, like, outside of Sweden. So y'all just shut the fuck up. Yeah. Like, it's just like, well, we don't like Stockholm. They're so snobby. I'm like, Stockholm doesn't even think about you, bro. They don't even think that you exist right now. Like, so... but I think that's the thing with open mics, because I was in an open mic in a couple open mics in London. I'm like, oh my god, these guys are shit here too. I was just like,
makes you feel better.
Yeah, but it's an open mic. It's like the shittiest of the shit. It's like,
and it's a big population, so it's like a lot of people are gonna get ideas to do comedy.
Yeah, exactly. And like everybody, always one person's talking about Hitler, another person talking about pedo jokes, another person on abortions. It's like the Trinity It's like the Trinity right there.
That's like, literally me. When I first did like Andralong, I was like, oh, we're gonna get up and talk about rape. That's literally my first fucking. So I didn't even get the sympathy laughs in the beginning. I didn't get the he's just trying shit out.
On like, rape, I don't think so. I mean,
yeah, but it was so dumb. It wasn't even about, like, I didn't even mention a victim of rape. Like, it was more, if I remember it correctly, it was so long ago, but I was like, rape happens so much that it must have been one occasion.
Yeah.
Just 2 rapists walking down the alley, not realizing the other one is also trying to rape them.
Oh my god! I'll just stop you there.
And then they just go for it.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hold on, this is easier than I." Why is this going so smoothly? I don't know.
Was that your joke?
That was like my joke. It's so dumb. It's some shit you would see on Family Guy.
I see. Okay, yeah. It might have
just ridiculousness.
Yeah. Okay.
But that was like my first time ever.
Yeah, I love how men always default to first jokes like rape, Hitler, pedos, abortions. That's it. Like,
I hate the fact that I was like, fuck, I fell into that category.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I'm going to be so creative today. What am I going to think about? Hitler, raping, pedos, abortions. It's like,
no one's done this.
No one's done that joke. Every open mic is one guy doing a Hitler joke. And it's always Hitler on Hitler's diet. Like, oh, Hitler was a vegetarian.
Was he?
I don't think that's true. I think everyone thinks it's true, but it's some sort of weird thing that they mention. My point is that open mics in general, doesn't matter where. It's just like,
you know what joke, oddly enough, worked on that crowd of 5 women? They were like maybe your age. And one of them was like a businessy woman. She's like in control of like 10,000 people, like employees. She was like a boss lady, you know? But I did this joke, and I don't know why this worked, but I was like, I'm a feminist. I believe women are good drivers because Chinese people kill all their daughters and they're still terrible drivers.
Okay.
And I was like, you can't blame women if you've killed them all.
Okay, yeah.
And then I go on to go and be like, there's 2 things you need to know to understand that joke. Yeah. China's one-child policy.
Yeah.
And the stereotype that Asians are bad drivers. And then I go, it's a valid argument. That one's for you, feminists. use it whenever you want. You just got to be brave enough to use racism to combat sexism.
Well,
and I just go, and for some reason, those 5 ladies loved it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's a good start.
Yeah. So I was like,
these ladies are probably racist, but that's fine. That's fine. That's hilarious. But you just keep going, and just keep writing.
I think we're doing good on time. Let's wrap up the first episode so we can do the Patreon. Plug your stuff. All your stuff that you want to plug to the people.
You can follow me on Sunny VK Comedy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Where's your audience from?
The States.
Mostly from the States. Okay. So like you can come to my shows. But Sunny VK Comedy. And I don't really have TikTok, or I don't waste my time with Twitter. So Instagram is where you'll find the most of it.
Instagram, Sunny VK Comedy. You heard it. We're about to switch over to the Patreon. If you haven't subscribed to the Patreon, check that out. We have a bunch of every week bonus episodes on the Patreon. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank the audience.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Americans. Thank you.
All right, peace.
Bye.